up, my brother? What up, my brother? What's up, my brother? Yep. Welcome to the Marcus Stewart podcast. It's another episode. I'm out here trying to school my little G's, my middle-aged G's, even my old G's out here. It's good to be back. It's good to see y'all. Look, appreciate you for watching the show today. Um, this is actually a podcast, so you can check out the podcast on everywhere that podcast platforms are being listened to. But today, I got a great episode for you today. Today, I'm talking about how to know if she is not the one. How to know if she is not the one. I want you to put on your seatbelts for this one, guys. It is not my intention to have nobody out here breaking up. It's not my intention for you to leave her. It's not my intention for y'all to break up. But it is my intention to help my brothers, to not be getting played out here in these streets, not be getting taken advantage of. All right. And so, look, I'm going to jump right in because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has talked to a girl that you really like. She might be real cool. She might have a whole lot of good qualities, a whole lot of things that you mess with, for lack of better words, a whole lot of good stuff going. She probably be the coolest person that you know. You could talk to her, you can hang out with her, but there's the but right there. You know that it can only be what it is for where it is. And or you talking to a girl and she might be doing a lot of stuff right, but you see like something is off. Like you don't know if it's she got something else going on the side. You don't know if she just not trying to take you serious. You know, it could be any one of those things. Or you might be in a relationship right now and you realize like you probably jumped too quick or you probably made a commitment, right? And you should have sat back and waited a little bit because there was some things you wasn't sure about. Well, today I'm gonna tell you how you can, just to give you a couple of things that you can see, that you could think of, how you can tell this probably not the right person for you, right? And so I'm gonna start off with the first one. The first one I'm gonna start off, and this one is crazy because you know I used to think different, but is your spiritual alignment off? What is y'all spiritual alignment like? So, like, I used to think, or I used to say this, right, on my episodes, that two people can actually like stay in a relationship. Like, I didn't care. I didn't care about what her spirituality level was. I didn't care whether she was really into church, really into God. I didn't care. But you know what? In my recent in my recent dating experiences, I gotta say it kind of does matter. It kind of does matter. Now, not to say that somebody treated me bad or did me crazy, no, but it matters that the person is like, they have the same core values as you. You know what I'm saying? It matters that they have core values is the main one. Like talk about, do you want to actually get married? Because you know what, like, in these times, some people want to get married but some people don't. And sometimes people be in a relationship, you know not having the hard conversation to say, well, you know what, I want us to be in a committed relationship, but I'm not really feeling marriage. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of them conversations, right, that I think should be had, with you and your girl, to see if just that alone, if y'all aligned on that alone, you know, whether she's a Christian, whether she's a Muslim, right? Whether she's a non-denominational, a Church of God in Christ, whether she is an atheist, whether she's a devil worshiper. You need to know that, my guy. And the reason why I say that is because if you into church, or if you trying to get into church, right, and she's on something else, that's gonna be one of them things, man, that slowly kind of pull y'all apart. And so, look, I'm not saying, right, that nobody can make it if their spiritual beliefs are different. I'm saying that's something that you gotta really have that conversation about. But the main thing with that, what comes from that, is the core values. Core values, like I'm gonna give you an example, like honesty and transparency. Like, that's something that you would think everybody is real, is real big on. That's one of my core values, is being honest and being transparent. And I want my woman to be honest and to be transparent. But let's say if that's one of your core values, right? But it's not one of hers, she don't really value honesty like that, or she don't value transparency like that. So like, you busy letting her know it's nothing to, you ain't got nothing to hide, it's nothing to fear, it's nothing extra going on, right? But then while you being transparent, while you being honest, while you being open, right? She's busy being secretive, or she's not being as transparent. She's leaving some gray area, And look, if that's what she's into, if that's what you into, that's fine. But I'm saying y'all core values need to be aligned. If that's where both of y'all are, then it's cool. But if you want something different, you know, ah, that's gonna knock you off. Like, another one of my core values is accountability. And that's a big one, because I've heard, and I'm not red pill or nothing like that, but I've heard that many women have a problem with this word accountability. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying, whoever you choose to be with, if you're in a relationship right now, you can tell, whether or not your person, your girl, you can tell whether or not she is big on accountability. That means like being able to admit and acknowledge when you tripping, straight up, and being able to admit and acknowledge when you tripping. That's one of them core values, man. And if you big on accountability and she's not, guess what? Guess who fault it's always gonna be? Guess who fault? Guess who always gonna be the one in the wrong? I've been in a relationship like that. I'm big on accountability. I can take accountability for my actions, but I'm gonna need you to take accountability for yours. You know, so that's again a core value. I'm big on respect. Treat me how you want me to treat you. Talk to me the way you want me to talk to you. Handle me the way you want me to handle you. Look, one way that you could tell that she may not be the one for you, if y'all core values are off. If you big on respect and she big on disrespect, like she'll talk to you any kind of way. If she get mad, if she trying to get her point across, she'll say whatever, like below the belt stuff. If y'all core values ain't aligned, fam, you I ain't telling you to break up. I'm telling you to think about it. If you dating somebody and you see y'all core values ain't lined up, I ain't telling you stop talking to her. I'm telling you, man, you probably should think about it. That's one of them things. That's one of them big things. Spiritual beliefs lead to core values. So if y'all can rock together, she Muslim and you Christian, y'all can rock together. If I don't think if you're a Christian, I don't think you should be dating a devil worshiper or a Satanist or nothing, or an atheist. But hey, to each his own. But my thing is, whatever you believe, whatever your spiritual, if y'all can if you realize, or you feel like you as a man, you could deal, okay, I could love her through that. We not the same, religion, or we don't believe the same thing spiritually, but we can work together. We can still make this work fine. But them core values, because your spiritual beliefs is going to lead into your core values, and if y'all core values are not aligned, I'm telling you, that's going to be a difficult relationship, my brother. It's going to be very, very, very difficult. And here's what I'm always say. I'll always say this. I'm not telling you to break up. I'm not telling you to stop talking to her, but I am saying it's always easy to find somebody whose spiritual beliefs do align, whose core values do align. And look, that's why I separate them, because look, sometimes people say that they do believe, like they Christians, right? But then they Christian, but they don't believe in being honest or being transparent. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I included both of them. I included both of them because that gotta align. And if it don't, I'm telling you, man, you gonna find yourself in a lot of frustrating situations. All right, that's one of the first ones. All right, so here, this next one, I'm big on it, so I thought I would include it, but everybody is not big on it. And the thing is, personal growth. So are you big on personal growth? Some people are not big on personal growth. No criticism, no shade, right? To each his own. If you big on personal growth, here's what I say. If you big on personal growth, if you big on reading, if you big on improving yourself and growing yourself and getting more mature, even if she's not into it, she shouldn't be critical of you for doing it. She shouldn't be trying to manipulate you out of improving yourself because she wants you to do something different. You feel me? I'm saying this. If that's not what she into, she shouldn't stop you from doing it. If you into personal growth, she shouldn't be the one to criticize it, right? She should be the one to support and encourage you in it. And look, this one is also tricky too, because sometimes a woman will say, "Oh, I'm just trying to encourage you." But encouragement is not being critical. She shouldn't be critical of your, you know what I'm saying, of your personal growth. Sometimes women say they're trying to help you grow, but in reality, she's trying to change you into somebody else. She's trying to make you, be somebody completely different. You know, read, you gotta tell the signs. This is one of the reasons why I included this one, because a good woman is gonna support you. A good woman is going to support your personal growth. A good woman is going to help you to enhance your personal growth, not pull you down and criticize you. I was in a relationship, right? And many of you know this. I'm a minister, and I've been a minister for a long time. And man, one of my habits is I study my Bible every day. I read my commentaries. I do study time every single day. And man, she was real critical of it. He was like, "It's so many other things that you could be doing with your day and your time, but you always got to go and pick up that Bible and blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, look, you need to decide whether you want to be with me or not, boo. Because I ain't gonna stop doing what I'm doing, and that's what I'm saying. A good woman is going to understand whatever it is that you're trying to build or accomplish, or whatever it is, wherever you're trying to grow yourself and mature yourself. She's gonna understand that. I've always felt like this. Whatever I do, I want to be good at doing it. So, that's what I was into. But man, it's this one person, and it wasn't just one, it was a couple of them. But at the end of the day, exactly. That's why we having this conversation right here. At the end of the day, they wasn't the one. So I had to let them go. You might have to let them go, my God. You might have to let them go. Buddy, brother. You might have to let them go. I mean, I'm sorry. Or you know what? This is the best case scenario. They let themselves go. My brother, one of the ways that she's not for you is if she let herself go. Ooh, look, I could talk about that one, right? But that's close to home, man. If I mention it, she gonna think I'm talking about her, but I ain't talking about you, sweetheart. I ain't talking about you. But if she excuse herself, that goes to show you that she is not the one. Now, let me tell you this. Now, this one could be number 4. If she excuse herself, this should have been number 1. Because my brother, let me tell you this. I don't care what you have purpose to do for her. I don't care if you bought the ring and she don't know it. Hint, hint. I don't care if you was planning on taking her on a cruise. Hint, hint. I don't care if you was planning on buying her tires. She didn't know this, but she excused herself. So you gotta let her go. That's how you know. That's how you know she ain't the one for you, because she excused herself. And look, that experience happened. It happened. And I was talking to my brother. I was like, "Bro, I had planned to do so many good things for her. Man, I had so many good intentions. I was gonna do this. I was planning on doing that. I said this in motion. I was planning on doing this and that." And he was like, "Hey, man, that just go to show you that she ain't the one." I'm telling you what my little brother told me. I'm just telling you that she's not the one. If she excuse herself, she ain't it. She not it. Let her go, my God. Let her go. I don't care if she your baby mama. Let her go. I don't care if, well, I'm gonna say you ain't supposed to be doing it anyway. You ain't supposed to be chaka chaka. You ain't supposed to be doing it anyway. But I don't care if it's the best you ever had. If she excuse herself, you gotta let her go, my God. That's how you know she's not for you. All right, look, I'm gonna move out that one, but I need you to hear me when I say this, fellas. My brother, if she leave, if she break up with you, if she leave you, if she walk away, ain't no sign bigger than that. God can't come down and he can't be no more incarnate than that. That is God telling you, my G, she ain't the one for you. Let her go. Let her go, man. Let her go. She ain't the one. All right. Here's the next one. Look, direction. So look, this is two-part, because I say this. As a man, you need to know what direction you going with your life. You got to know. You got to know where you intend to go. You got to have goals. You got to have vision. I did an episode maybe like a week or a couple weeks ago about establishing your leadership, being a good leader. first you have to be able to lead your life well. So direction is first dealing with you. I'm gonna say this: you shouldn't even be really looking at no woman seriously if you don't have a direction for your own life, because it's only gonna set you up to be manipulated or to be relying on her for what she has in mind for you. And that is not the way. That is not the way my job set it up. You gotta have direction for you. You got to know your purpose. You got to know your goals. You got to know your mission. You got to know your vision. You got to know what direction you're going in your own life, right? But now, how do you know that? You can't know what woman is right for you until you know where you're going. You can't know which woman is right for your life until you have a direction for your life. And so direction is a big one, but first it starts with you, my guy. Then when you know where you're going, so like for example, me myself, I'm a minister, right? I have a church. So I know I'm going to be doing ministry. I'm going to be pastoring for a long time, for the foreseeable future, for many, many years. That's my direction. You know, I'm writing some books. That's my direction. You know, I do a podcast. That's one of my goals, my vision. That's my direction. These are the things that I'm doing. I'm into my children. You know, I'm family oriented. These are the direction. This is direction that my life is going. Now, it would be crazy for me to go and try to make my life be connected to somebody who's always traveling, who's always on the go. I don't mind taking a trip, taking a vacation every now and then, but for someone who lives 3 months in this state, then comes home for a week and lives 3 months in a different state, packs up and goes overseas for a while. It's fun and it's cool for some people, but that's just not right for me. And this is why I say for you, my G, you got to know what direction your life is headed. If you travel a lot, then you need somebody that's flexible like that. But if you more family oriented, you got to see what direction your life is going. Look, if you a pimp, don't go try to hook up with no bishop, no lady preacher. Don't. That ain't your thing. Look, this is just a joke. I don't condone pimping. Let me say that, but it's just a joke. But you get my point. If you out here doing something extra, you need to find somebody that's on your way. That's why I say direction. One of the ways that you know that a woman is right for you is if she can be aligned with your direction. Talk about your vision for the future to see if it can be a shared vision for the future. Because sometimes you might want it to work, but then you know she may be going in a totally different direction. You feel me? Like I thought of another joke. I'm gonna say it too. Look, so long time ago, long time ago, long time ago. As I said, I've been a preacher, and I pulled the girl who was super fine at Walmart, and I found out she was a stripper. I found out she was a stripper. Now, the man in me wanted to say, I can make this work. But the common sense that the head at the top. That's funny to me. I knew it wasn't gonna work because our directions was going totally different. And Lord forbid, if you know, if I'm going to preach somewhere and this is my woman, she on my arm, and we in there, and some of the dudes know her from her either her previous profession or her present profession, and I'm up there preaching, and my girl is on my arm, and everybody know, come on, man, that wasn't gonna work. I'm saying that to you, my G. You got to let your head make some decisions. The direction that you're going with your life, bro, if she ain't going in that direction, you probably want to say, she ain't the one. One of the first signs that she may not be the one for you is when it feels like the direction you are going is not the same direction that she is going. It's like it's like you trying to pull to save money and she trying to steady spend money. You ain't gonna look. That's a hard decision. You know, I know some of y'all, you know, you probably listening to this with your girl around. Don't look at her. Put your headphones in. Because I know a whole lot of people that's good with money and a person not good with money. And that's one of the reasons why people break up. You know, look it up. One of the 3 reasons why people get divorced Finances is one of them, because one person spends so much and the other person is trying to save. And then the person that's trying to save realize that they ain't never gonna be able to have nothing because the other person just, two different directions, two different directions. You know, another one, maybe one person is really about home and building up the family and quality time with the children and family time, while the other one enjoys being out, enjoys being gone, enjoys going and doing all the time as opposed to staying home with the family. That's two different directions. And that's why I say to you, my G, you got to find out what direction you going, and then see what direction she is going. And then when you meet, when y'all dating, y'all conversate about that direction to see if it can be a shared vision for y'all, the shared direction. Because if it's not, y'all gonna slowly go. Just trying to tell you, find out what way she is going. See if that aligns with where you going. Find out where she going with her life, and see if that aligns with where you going with your life. Sometimes, how people say, oh, we just grew apart. That's because somebody was going in one direction and somebody was going in another direction. And ultimately, more than one vision is division. The relationship gonna die and y'all gonna go y'all separate ways. I'm just trying to tell you, my God, one way that you can tell that she probably not for you, as if you see that y'all are going in two different directions. That's why I say you got to be realistic. Don't think with the little head. You got to think with the big head. The direction she is going will make your decision for you most of the time. If you look, don't make the same mistake I was trying to. I didn't make the mistake, but it did cross my mind. And that's why I had to bring it up to you, my G, because sometimes, other things can persuade you to try to make you think that you can make it work. And my brother, it's gonna be 3 years later and it ain't gonna work. I'm trying to save you the heartbreak, my guy. You need somebody who is willing to build along with you, not be trying to build something separate from you. And so this is why I say direction is one of those important things, man. Which way is she going? Which way are you going? See if those two directions line up. Y'all can't be going in two opposite directions talking about y'all gonna build a life. She probably not the one if she not going the same direction that you going, my G. She's probably not. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that, but hey, she's probably not. I know you love her. I know she probably got a big booty. I know she the finest thing you ever seen. I know she prettier than all your other girlfriends. I know, bro. I know. But she still might not be the one for you. I'm just telling you. All right. Look, think. Think. All right. Here's another one. Look, you know how inner red flags, like have you ever been like you talking to a girl and it's cool, right? But you like, man, something is off. Don't ignore that. Don't ignore that, my brother. Don't ignore that, my brother. Look, women have intuition. I'm not gonna say men have an intuition. I'm gonna just say sometimes you know without knowing. Sometimes you can see it, but you don't want to acknowledge it. Or sometimes you like, you're not really fully satisfied, but you like, I ain't telling you to break up. I'm just saying you knew it before now. It just takes me to say it. It just takes me to say it, but you knew it before now. And I'm saying that because, like, bro, sometimes, you be trying to make her happy or you be trying to do what people think is going to be right for you, but you already have an inner red flag. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's something in you that's saying, I'm just not ready to settle down, but I'm just not this, or this relationship just ain't that, or whatever that thing is. Work that out before you make that serious commitment. And look, this one is another one of those kind of like, she may be the one for you. She may not be the right one for you. But if you so unsure about it that you second guessing and questioning yourself, look, I had a dude once tell me this. If you've been talking to a girl for 5 years and you still unsure about whether y'all gonna get married, whether you're gonna marry her or not, being unsure, that's the answer. Because when you know, you know. When you know, you just know. Look, when you know, you know. And this is one of those things, man. You got to pay attention to those gut feelings and those inner intuitions. That could be God. That could be God making you unfulfilled or unsettled for a reason. Like that might be God really trying to tell you something ain't right. That could be God. And so this is why, when I say those internal red flags that you have that you ain't said nothing about, but you sensing it's like the spidey sense tingling in your brain, and you got, things going off, you can't quite put your finger on it. Look, here's what I say. Look, pray. First off, you got to pray. Pray for discernment. Pray for discernment and pray that my job gives you obvious signs that you can't miss or that you can't mistake. Like, you got to pray on that. And then look, I can't stress this enough. If you at a place, right, well, you feel like your mind is like cloudy, or you can't put your finger on it and you don't know what it is, I'm going to say it, bro. Maybe you need to go non. And when I say non, I mean non-sexual. Maybe you need to, and I've been preaching that. I've been harping on that. I've been singing that since I started my show. Look, maybe if you're not sure, maybe you need to, I'm telling you, nothing gives you clarity like taking sex off the table. I'm telling you, whatever you didn't think that you understood or whatever you couldn't see clear, that right there, when you take that off the table, you gonna see a whole lot clearer. Because I'm gonna tell you, look, that's what happened to me. When I took sex off the table, it make you see who the person is real quick and real clear, real fast. I'm telling you, take sex off the table. That might help. That might, sex might be the wool that's over your eyes. You gotta get it off. Get it off of there. Get the scales off your eyes, my brother, so you can see clearly. Look, she may not be the one. She may be the one. But if you can't see clear, my guy, think about it. Take you some time. Pay attention if you really feel. Look, here's another one, man. If you feeling emotionally drained, bruh, if you feeling emotionally drained, a relationship is not supposed to be draining. I really do believe this. As a man, certain things that women do is going to probably get on your nerves. As I'm sure some of the things that you do is going to get on her nerves. But it's not supposed to be draining, bruh. Like you're supposed to come home and get your fulfillment at home from your person. You shouldn't come home and like have to get yourself ready to go home, bro. Like, you should be running to go home. If she don't make your house feel like that, if she don't make your home feel like that, bruh, you probably should rethink that. Because if you got a good woman, that nurture you and that love you right, bro, it don't matter what kind of day you had. You're gonna be running home to her. And then you ain't gonna be like, if you are frustrated, you ain't gonna take it out on her, because she's the one that helps you to calm down. Your relationship ain't the place where it should be draining you, bro. I want you to ask yourself, bro, are you getting drained? Do you feel drained in your relationship? Emotionally drained? Do you feel emotionally? Get your mind out the gutter. Emotionally drained. Do you feel like emotionally and mentally drained? Like when you deal with her, are you drained, bro? That's a sign, my guy. That's a sign. I'm gonna tell you this, bro. It's sad, but man, I know some fellas, man. Dread going home. That's a sign, my guy. Dread going home. That's a sign, my G. Y'all probably need to go get counseling, or I ain't gonna say it because I don't want y'all to break up, but I'm saying she might not be the one for you, player. She might not be the one for you, my guy. I mean, you shouldn't be feeling drained, man. Y'all ain't gonna always agree, but it shouldn't be emotionally draining. Y'all may not always see eye to eye, bro, but it shouldn't feel like you gotta put on your boxing gear just to go home. Now that's a major one right there. She might not be the one for you. Like, are you at peace in your relationship? She can't be your peace. You got to have peace before you get in a relationship, but she can't be your peace, but she can disrupt your peace if she not the right one. Hear me when I say that, my brother. She can't be your peace. Only my job can be your peace, but she can disrupt your peace. She can vex you, bruh. If she not the one, bruh, and then get a kick out of vexing you. That's a sign, dog. That's a sign that she probably not it, bro. She not supposed to get a kick out of seeing you frustrated and mad and angry and annoyed. She shouldn't be getting a kick out of that, bro. She shouldn't. If she got an issue, she should be able to discuss that issue with you. But she shouldn't be getting a kick out of seeing you getting frustrated and getting angry and getting upset. That shouldn't excite her, bro. That's a sign, my guy. I'm just telling you, that's a sign, my G. Identify if you constantly feel the need to compromise your authentic self. You should be able to be who you are with your person. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that until I die. You shouldn't have to be a totally different person for your woman, for your own person to accept you. If you dating a girl, if you seeing a girl, if you looking for a girl, you should be able to be yourself with her. And if you can't be yourself with her, that's probably a sign that she probably not the one for you. It's sad, bro, but you would rather, I'm telling you, it feels so much better to be able to be your genuine self with a person. I dated a girl one time, and because yes, I'm a minister and I've been a minister, right? She got mad at me because it was a Friday night and I wanted to drink that night. Why you why you like what we arguing? Because and it ain't like I'm drinking and I don't be just getting all wasted and cussing and acting all crazy. I don't do none of that. Why is that your problem? Like, I just didn't understand what the issue was. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is your problem? You ain't even here to be dealing with, you at home, and I'm here at my house by myself. Why we gotta have an issue about that? I don't know, but I'm saying you should be able to be your authentic self around this person. You shouldn't have to be a totally different person to be with her. And if you do, she probably not a good one for you, bro. I know a whole bunch of brothers, bro, that's weird and crazy, weird. And they found a woman that's weird right along with them. And I'm like, bruh, I don't know how y'all do it. They just right for each other. I'm saying that because you can be your genuine self, bruh. And like, if she ain't the one, she just ain't the one. But don't you shouldn't have to be a totally different, completely different person. You know what I'm saying? If you are unclear about your negative feelings or feelings of being dissatisfied, again, I say you probably should cut off the sex so you can see clearly. You probably should cut off the sex to see what you might be missing. You probably be booty blinded, my brother. You probably be booty blinded. Go non for a while. Go non-sexual for a while and see if you really have a person that you can build with. Because don't nothing reveal a relationship like taking sex off the table. Man, I'm telling you, if you remove sex from the equation, you'll be able to see that person for who she really is real quick. And you'll see, oh yeah, I got me a good one. Or you'll see like, dang, I've been booty blinded for the last 2 years. Y'all seen that movie where Incredible Hulk, he was the Hulk on Ragnarok, right? On Thor, the Ragnarok movie. Incredible Hulk was Incredible Hulk for like 3 years. And then he snapped out of it, and Bruce Banner was like, where am I? That's going to be you, my brother. That's going to be you. You're going to turn the sex off, and you're going to realize, man, where in the world am I? Who am I with? What have I been doing these last 3 years? You've been booty blinded, my brother. Wasting your time with the wrong one. I'm just telling you. I'm saying what you already know. You just need me to say it to you. I'm trying to help you, my G. Look, you are going to know whether or not you really want to build a future with her or not if you take sex off the table. You may not know if she is the one, but you will always be able to tell if she is not the one. I need you to hear that, my brother. You may not be able to tell if she is the one, but you know whether or not she is not the one. You already know. It just takes me to tell you. All right, here's another one. The lack of progress in y'all's relationship. The lack of progress. So I say this, the lack of reciprocity and progress. So I say this, one of the things, when you're trying to build like a life with somebody, when y'all gonna have disagreements, y'all gonna get mad at each other, right? Y'all gonna have arguments sometimes, heated discussions is like what I like to say. But the thing is, it shouldn't be one-sided when it comes to reconciling. Like, you shouldn't be the only one consistently initiating the reconciliation. You shouldn't be the one consistently initiating the compromise. You shouldn't be the one consistently initiating the conversations. You shouldn't be the one that's always willing to make the necessary changes. It shows lack of reciprocity. It shows, goes back to one of my core values, accountability. Like, it should be both of you guys, working towards the common goal of, if it's a common compromise, it's a common cooperation, it's a common give or take, or it's a common of, what, I was tripping, or what, I was too in my feelings. Everybody can make a mistake, or everybody, is prone to do something because we're human. And I'm not saying to be, just be so critical of her. No, but I'm saying that it should always be both of you guys saying, I don't want us to be mad for 2 weeks. I don't want us to be mad for the next 3 days, and it shouldn't just be you trying to progress y'all's relationships. Y'all should be able to discuss something and then move past that something. It's a sign, right? Maybe it's not a sign to break up, but it is something that you should pay attention to. If y'all are constantly having the same argument over and over, or if y'all get in a new argument and then the old argument come back up, it's a sign that y'all are not progressing, right? I need you to consider that, my brother. Consider that if there's no reciprocity on the other end, if you're always the one fighting, or if you see, right, that you are the only one that's looking for the solution to the problem, it's a good chance that you gonna, going around that mountain, my brother. Consider if the relationship is consistently pulling you away from your goals rather than towards them. And that's why I say, first one is reciprocity. Then the second one is progress. Progress as a couple. As a man, you do set the direction. But then after that, you set the direction, and then you try to establish a common and shared vision between the two of you. You were never meant to follow a woman. I'm going to say that loud for the people that are in the back. You were never meant to follow a woman. Women are emotional. Yes, they can make good decisions. Yes, they are smart. Yes, they are strong. But you were never meant to follow her. You were meant to lead. You are meant to follow God, and she is meant to follow you. I say that because you should be making progress. Look, I use this analogy because I know a homeboy of mine, right? Still cool to this day, was in a long-term relationship, but everything that they have been doing has been going nowhere for the last few years. And that's why I say progress. That progress between the both of y'all, relationships should be progressive, or you should have something building between the two of you. And that's why I said direction is first to you as a man, because you got to know what you're trying to do, what you're trying to build, what you're trying to accomplish. And then that's, again, this is why I said, working together. How you know that she probably is not the one? If she doesn't understand, and I talked about this on one of my last episodes about how the bishop talked about it when he came on the episode about how the wife comes under the man, how the wife, the word is submit, but some people may take offense to that, but that's what the word is. It was willingly submitting to the man's leadership. Not saying that she doesn't have an opinion, not saying that she doesn't have a say-so or a mind of her own, but ultimately the man is the one who makes the decision. The man sets the direction, the man gives the vision, the man sets the goal, and then he communicates that vision, and then they could develop a shared vision between the two of them. But I say that to you, my brother, because you got to be willing to progress the relationship. And if she's not willing to progress the relationship, you don't want to be in a relationship for 4 to 5, 7, 9, 10 years, not going nowhere. All right. Last but not least. Oh, wait, that's not last but not least. Here's the one that I will give you, though. I got one more. This one and then one more after this. The absence of godly qualities. Everybody don't believe in God, and I get that. But I do believe that a woman that's right for you, Let me say that. A woman that's right for you should possess godly qualities. A woman who is going to be your wife, because that's what I'm talking about here. She is not right for you, not right to be your wife. You are looking for a wife, somebody to build a life with. If she does not have godly qualities and character, excuse me, godly qualities and characteristics, my brother, you probably need to pray about that one, my brother. Look for a consistency, a consistent character, a consistent character qualities, godliness, patience, kindness, self-control in her actions towards you, self-control in her actions towards other people, self-control. Is she forgiving? Is she loving, or does she like to hold grudges? These are things, right, that is going to destroy your relationship. Not look, and this don't just go for her, this go for you too. You know, is she forgiving, or does she hold grudges? Does her character demonstrate a consistent desire for what is true? Because we all know feelings are fleeting. You might feel this way, but that may not be true. That just may be how you feel in the moment. You know, does she have a desire for what's true and for what's integrity, or just how she feels in the moment? Because I'm telling you, nothing can wreck a relationship like you trying to cater to a woman who follows how she feels around all day, every day. She has feelings, but that's what you are there for, to hold her, to hug her, to console her, but not so that you can try to appease how she feels. That's not the way it goes. And I'm telling you, there should be a certain level of maturity with whoever you choose to build a life with. There should be a certain level of maturity within you, my brother. I'm just telling you, this is how you would know that she is probably not the one. If she lacks a multitude of godly qualities and a godly characteristics, accountability. Can she recognize when she is wrong? Can she recognize, right? When she needs to do her part to resolve conflict? Does she recognize, her part in taking accountability when necessary? Because she's not always wrong. You're gonna be tripping sometime, my brother. But my point is, if you're trying to build, that's got to be something that y'all got to have in common. You hear what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get you to see it. All right. So again, look, and here's the last one. The last one is, how do you guys handle conflict? How does she handle conflict? Look, how do you handle conflict? That's a big one. How do y'all handle conflicts? Because I'm gonna tell you, as much as you love each other, y'all gonna have conflicts. As much as y'all care about each other, y'all gonna disagree. And one sure way to know that a person is not for you, if the person don't know how to stick to the topic. If y'all get to arguing and she starts like taking personal shots, that's not conflict resolution. It's like, look, all right, I know I got a big stomach, but what does that got to do with us spending our money? What does that got to do with you spending too much right now? Look, I know I need to go to the gym, but what does that have to do with you? You get what I'm saying? Look, if she constantly resorts to taking personal shots, my brother, you might need to reconsider that, man. You're gonna get mad at each other. The question is, how do you deal with it? And can y'all get past it? Really, the bulk of relationship is you gonna be dealing with conflict resolution and getting past it. I want you to do this, my brother, to see whether she is right for you or not. Notice if conflicts escalate without productive resolution. If y'all can't resolve it and it's constantly getting worse and worse and worse, and then you look up and y'all arguing about something that y'all wouldn't even talk about in the beginning, my brother, that's going to be a long, difficult, tedious relationship, my brother. You might need to reconsider, right? And so, look, that's that's all I got for you, my brother. Remember this. Remember this quote before I go offline. You may not know if she is the one because you don't know, but you always know if she is not the one. I have in times I have had to pray, is she the one? Man, she could be the one. But I have never had to pray, you know what? This ain't working. I already knew it wasn't gonna work. I just stayed with it for whatever reasons that I stayed with it. But I knew in my head that this wasn't the one. I was just, you know, and you probably saying this to yourself sometime, man, you know what? I can learn to love her. I can learn to just, I can make this work. Don't believe it, my brother. All right. So look, check it out. Look, if this episode helped you, look, go ahead and leave me a comment, hit the like button. If you've been watching my episodes and you haven't subscribed yet, shame on you, my brother. Shame on you. Tell somebody about this podcast. We need to help each other, uplift each other as brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to look out for you, my brother. All right, so that's all I got for you today. Look, be on the lookout for a new episode next week. I've been trying to drop weekly episodes. So, guys, subscribe, hit the like button, leave me some comments, man. I want to read them. I want to get back. I want some feedback. All right. So, look, that's all I got for y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Y'all have a good one.